shifting awareness. What does shifting awareness mean? What the session aims to achieve here today is basically to help you understand how to ground yourself when it comes to appreciate your awareness of whatever you see outside and what's happening inside as well. Now, when it comes to understanding awareness of what we experience and what is really translated in our mind could be very different when it comes to listening to it from other people. And what do I mean by that is basically the way we look at the world is our unique experience of the world. The way others see it is their unique understanding and experience of the world. I could be seeing a different perspectives of the same event, and the person next to me could be experiencing it in a different way. And this is the reason we have different memories, recollection of memories. And when we want to tell someone that we remember that event in a certain way, they might remember it in a different way. And there's no point in arguing, because the way they remember it is true for them, and the way we remember it is very true for us. Now, I'm going to also invite you guys to join the group chat if you have any questions, any comments on the things that we'll be talking about today. And if you want to share your own personal experience of when you noticed your awareness being shifted, it's going to be very interesting to hear. Now, our awareness is constantly shifting to different things that are happening outside. And by the way, I'm playing this tune in the background. It helps people focus, and I'll be speaking about this in a moment when we talk about frequencies. So basically, our awareness is constantly shifting with our changing environment and our changing screens. What do I mean by screens? Is that people have two different screens. One screen is focused on what's happening outside, and the other screen is what's happening inside. And I learned this from Vadim Zeland, who is also an author of many books in reality transurfing and others as well. And it's important to notice that what is happening outside is differently translated internally. So for instance, let's say someone is going to meet a friend, an old friend, and they're going to go out for coffee or something, right? And they go and they meet, and something happens in that place that shifted their awareness. For example, they met a third person, or something happened in that coffee shop that they were, a sudden sound or a sudden movement or something that shifted their awareness to that event. And now our awareness is not necessarily in a time and space kind of sense, if you know what I mean. If it's not relevant only to that space and time. Our awareness could move many times in many spaces and with many people. Like for instance, if I'm having coffee with my friend, and then I just think about my sister, then what happens is my awareness shifts to my sister who might be at home. So this is how to understand that our awareness is constantly shifting, and we can focus our awareness in a way where we are happy with what we're experiencing, even in difficult circumstances. So for example, if I look outside my window, my awareness is shifted there. At the same time, I am aware of this session that's happening right now. Our mind is a miraculous machine. Our mind is amazing. If you really think about it, it can process so many things at the same time. I could be moving my hand right now and at the same time talking. So where is my awareness exactly? There is a point in time and space where you could recall your awareness to something that you'd like to experience. So this really helps people experience a different outcome when it comes to their current experience. And now we're going to be speaking about the internal versus the external awareness. Awareness comes from our senses, and not only our senses, even our memories. And our memory is linked to our senses. So what I'm aware of, what's happening outside of me, is translated inside. Also, there's another sense of awareness internally when it comes to processing the information outside. So for example, if I recall a memory by just smelling a perfume, like if I walked somewhere and I engaged my senses, I smelled this perfume and it immediately takes me back to that memory of that event. So this is all connected in our mind. And as you well know that our mind has different layers. It has the conscious, subconscious, and the unconscious. And many different schools of thoughts are going to label it differently, but essentially it boils down to that there is something that I'm aware of, and there is something that's happening that I might not be aware of in the current moment right now. So it's very important to notice your awareness. Where is it taking you? Where is it leading you towards? If I want to experience a wonderful evening with my family, and if something happens that upsets me, how can I reshift my awareness so that I experience that event. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to experience any kind of emotion, just not being stuck in that emotion. So that's the whole point of shifting your awareness point. I am aware that something happened that may have upsetted me, and I'm also aware that this event is moving. It's always moving. So the current moment, as you well know, is constantly changing, moving, and so as your awareness. So if you watch a movie and there's a song playing in that movie, and you remember the song from some other event, that also takes you back and forth, because internally you're remembering that thing, that memory associated with the song, and externally you're watching this movie that's happening outside of you. So our mind is amazing. As I told you, it does so many things at the same time, and just being able to really appreciate this wondrous machine, we can really use it for ourselves. And today in this session, I aim to, give you tools that you can use to really center your awareness, center it and shift it in a way that you are able to experience what you would want to experience in any moment in time. How do we do that? Is by basically understanding that there are events that are continuing happening outside of us, and there is the way that I'm processing these events internally. Now, from your own personal experience, there are events that you translate very nicely inside, and there are events that you might be translating not so nice as the other events. And really understanding what goes on before this translation happens internally. Like for instance, if I had a conversation with my sister, and she was telling me about a topic that I'm well aware of, and she has a certain viewpoint on that topic. And my opinion on that topic is totally opposite of her opinion. So in that moment, you might notice that people tend to get ready to get that response. My idea is better than yours, and that's the ego part of us talking, because the ego likes to call things as its own, like this is my opinion, my idea, my emotion, my belief, my this and that. And when this happens, there's a clash, because I'm not listening to what she is saying. I'm preparing my own idea about what I want to tell her, my own response. And when we do that, we lose the moment. We lose the current moment, because we're inside of our mind, coming up with different ways of, calling it my own opinion and my own thing. In this moment, I ask you that if you experience stopping this chatter in your mind and just appreciate that other people have different opinions about things. In the beginning, this might be difficult to implement, because we all have our own opinions about things that have been shaped by things outside of us. What we all learned, we learned from somewhere. And maybe with time, we learned something else from someone else. But it's all exchanged if you really notice things. We exchange information all the time with our environment, with the people we interact with, and really just appreciating that people come from different backgrounds. Even in the same, even if you live in the same household, people experience things in a different way. My sister grew up with me, but she had her own unique experience of the world, her unique viewpoint of the world. And so did I. And because of that, it's very interesting to really appreciate that, you know what? It's okay if the other person has another opinion. We're not all the same. I believe that no one is the same, and that's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of awareness. We are aware that everyone has their own unique experience, and giving them that space, giving myself also that space to really appreciate that I have built my own opinions based on the informational exchange that I had outside. Now, let me talk about frequencies and how we experience things in frequencies. And the closest example that I can bring to you guys is sound. How sound waves travel from one place to the other and give us inside of our mind a way to translate this frequency of sound. And you all know that when we talk about Wi-Fi, the internet, it looks like waves of things, information exchange from one place to the other. And we don't necessarily see this. However, I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this thing where you think about something and then you see it in front of you. For example, if you thought about a person and then in a few moments your phone is ringing and that person is calling you. Or if you start thinking of a certain car, you see it outside of you. You see it outside while driving and you just notice like, oh, I was just thinking about this car and here it is. So what brought this thing here? We constantly transmit these waves of these frequencies, these, you know, vibrations, whatever you want to call them. We constantly transmit this in the universe, in the world, in our experience. And sometimes we get different hits, we get different information. It's like a feedback loop that comes back in your environment. You can use this for your goals. You can use this to experience different things that you want to experience in your day. So if you just put your awareness, your attention in a thing without any expectation, you might get it really fast. I remember a few days back, my sister was thinking about a cinnamon roll. And we never really do that at home. So just one day she was like, oh, it would be wonderful to have this cinnamon roll. And a few hours later, our cook has actually made us some cinnamon roll. And we're like, wow, when did you learn how to do this? So she just put her awareness and her attention on something and she just let it go. She didn't know that we're going to have it at home. It might have been even sent to us by someone else. Who knows? But what I'm telling you is that we all have this technique of sending out different intentions, different frequencies outside to experience something in our life. Now, it's important to notice that sometimes people might be sending out things that are not so good to experience, like anything. It could be like traffic. If, for example, someone doesn't really like traffic, they might be experiencing a lot of traffic. If someone does not likes things to be neat and tidy, they might be experiencing people who are not so neat and tidy. So it's important to understand what are frequencies, what are the types of frequencies that we're sending out? What are we constantly aware of? What do we keep our mind, you know, occupied with? You can occupy your senses with what you want to experience. So the tools that I was speaking to you about in this sense is basically understanding where is your awareness right now? A very simple question. Ask yourself, where is my awareness right now? Where do I want it to be? Your awareness is the same as, it could be your attention. What am I paying attention to? In this moment, perhaps you're listening to me and watching this screen. Or maybe you're also watching your phone, you're watching a color in your space right now. You might be in your house or even outside. Just put your attention on a color and just notice what you want to notice in this color. So we do this to ground ourselves. When you want to, experience something different than your usual thoughts in your mind, focus on something that you've never focused before, even in the space that you constantly occupy, such as your room. If you look at a picture in your room or a painting, wonder about this painting or this picture and see what you see in this picture, and notice if you can see something different than you usually notice about this picture or this painting or even this color that you're looking at right now. The way we use our senses is very important, because this is how we experience the frequencies. We constantly send out information and we receive information as well. The reason a lot of people say sit down and meditate and continue breathing is because to shift our awareness, it requires a little bit of focus. Not a little bit, a lot of focus, I would say, but you are always doing this because what you focus on grows. So focus on the things that you want to experience: colors, emotions, feelings. And when you learn how to center yourself and ask yourself these questions, like I do this constantly during the day, I would ask myself, where's my attention right now? Where do I want it to be? And then I do that. And it becomes easier afterwards because we're not used to asking ourselves these questions. We just leave our mind to lead us to different things. And also we let other things in our life show us different things, so we can focus on what we want when we have identified what we want. So I invite you today to do this with yourself, experience different points of awareness, put your attention on things that you've perhaps maybe never put your attention on before. When you listen to a music, notice the different tunes that are playing in this song. Or for example, if you're reading a book, look at the different letters that are written in the same sentence or the different words that are being used. Instead of being just immersed in this story or this book or this paragraph, look at different things when you look at your usual things. This way you can experience different frequencies. So we have a comment here from Iman, and she says that sometimes when I have to do a certain thing, I get distracted by minor stuff and stress out thinking of less important things instead of the big task, the goal, the task. How can I focus constantly on the main goal and purpose? So Iman, I invite you to challenge yourself with when you notice the minor stuff, ask yourself, is this important to the big goal or task? Go back to the goal and the task, read it. Say, okay, for me to experience this, to achieve this goal or task, how is this minor thing going to help me achieve it? Look at it in a different way. Ask yourself, how can this minor thing help me achieve this bigger task or goal? Ask it. You might have a different answer. So how you can focus constantly on the main goal and purpose, I would say because your awareness is continuously shifting, your focus is also shifting with your awareness. So give yourself time breaks. So for example, if you focus on something for 25 minutes and then do something else after for 5 minutes and then come back to it, give yourself this mini breaks. It's going to help you achieve what you want to achieve even faster. Even if you focus on something and then you feel that you are distracted, then I would say stand up, walk around, go drink water, do something, and then come back and look at the main goal and ask your main goal. I mean, okay, this might sound funny, but like ask your main goal. How is this small thing going to help me achieve you? And then you might have fun with it as well. So it's very important to introduce fun in what we do. Most people take things so seriously and they get stressed out and all these life stuff happens to them. And when you actually take things as, look at things in a funny way or laugh about the things, you might experience a different type of, focused concentration or awareness as well. Because when you are looking at the thing in the same way, then you might be experiencing the same results. But if you change the way you look at things, you are going to change the way you experience the different results. It's changing your point of awareness. And let me know, Iman, like when you do this, when you challenge the minor stuff, challenge them. It's okay to get distracted. We're living in a fast-paced environment that we're constantly distracted by the rings in our phone, the colors around us, the Netflix shows, the movies, everything is just constantly occupying our mind. So when you challenge this point, you can also help yourself get out of the thinking patterns, because you're challenging your thoughts right now. And let me know how it works with you, because there are multiple things that you can do. First is like, just stand up, walk around. Second, talk with this small thing and ask, like, how is the small thing going to help me with the big thing? And if it's not going to help you with the big thing, well, change it, or just leave it out of this big goal or task. And notice how you call things. Like, if you say a big goal or a big task, then it sounds really big, and this minor stuff is really minor. But if you change that calling the goal or the task, instead just call it, okay, this goal for this month, or this goal for this week, this week's goal, this week's tasks is going to be less and less, it's going to be easier for you to achieve it, and it's going to be less stressing you out, or it might even stop stressing you out. Let me know how it goes, Iman. I'd love to hear how it goes afterwards. You're most welcome. And you can always change your point of frequency, your point of vibrating with the world, by experiencing different things, shifting your awareness. Continue to shift your awareness. If you guys have any other questions, please ask in the chat box. Otherwise, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have offline. On Instagram, you can reach out, or even on YouTube. I'm going to be uploading this on YouTube in a moment. And continue to experience this shifting of awareness. Notice it, because it's constantly shifting. Notice your awareness when it goes to a memory, and ask this memory, how are you helping me right now? Notice when your awareness is going back to a conversation that you had with a friend, and just notice it. Let it play out the way it plays out. When you participate with these old memories, this is when you give them a lot of attention and feelings and emotions. But when you just let them pass, you allow them to play out the way that they want to play out, and you just move on with your day. Because guess what? You are right now here in this space and time that is different than your past. You can continue to create a future that you want to experience from the moment right now, not a point in the future. You can always change your future from the moment right now. So I hope you guys experienced a shift of awareness and shift of focused concentration. Inshallah, you're going to be experiencing more of this when you start to point out to yourself where your awareness is, when you start to question your thoughts, your attention, and experience and actually guide your attention to what you want to experience. You can always guide your thoughts to what you want to think more of. And you're going to get amazing insights from your mind, because your mind is an amazing machine, as I told you. And work with yourself to achieve what you want to achieve, because only you know what's best for you. And when you go back to yourself and really ask these questions, you're going to have amazing answers as well to help you from this point right now. Thank you guys for being with us this morning. I really enjoyed this session, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Let me know if you have any comments, questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And I'll see you inshallah next Saturday, when we speak about a different topic with a guest speaker that you're going to have so much fun listening to. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day ahead.